Howdy gamers. Howdy cowpokes. Hi, Sasha heads. There's probably nothing worse than a YouTuber naming their fans after their own name. Hey, Sasha freaks. That one's not good. Okay, so for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my querying process. I've talked a little bit before about how I am a writer and how I'm currently going through the process of finding an agent. And I feel like when I first started going through this process of finding an agent, or when I kind of first realized like, okay, I've gotten my book to the point where it can stand up on its own enough that it's ready for other people to see. Where do I go from here? How do I find an agent? Where do they exist? So this video is for you if you also find yourself in that space of I finished my book, what next? Or if you're just interested in learning a little bit about the agent to published process. So, querying. What does that word mean? And why do people do it? Querying is the act of sending your pitch packet to an agent. Your pitch packet is going to depend on what each agent wants, but it's generally going to consist of your cover letter and 10 to 20 to 30 to 50 pages of your manuscript. Some agents might also ask for a 1 to 2 page synopsis of your book, or they'll ask you for a 1-sentence pitch. Oh no, my battery's gonna die and I just started filming! Shoot, okay. Okay, I'm back and I adjusted the lighting so it's not coming from below like I am some sort of Dracul. Like I was saying, I've even seen an agent ask a question like, what song do you associate with this book? So the query package can really be anything, but at its heart it is your query letter and a selection of your manuscript. Now, why do you query? In most cases, querying is how you're going to get an agent. Do you need an agent to publish your book? Not necessarily. You could always self-publish, or you could submit your book directly to a publisher if they accept unsolicited, unagented queries. But for most authors, getting an agent is the first step to publishing their novel. So that's what querying is. Now, how do you find an agent? That was the question that plagued me. So I'm going to share with you how I have found agents to query in the past. 1, you can look up agents of authors that you like or whose books you feel are similar to yours. This is pretty easy because a lot of the times authors will actually have who they're represented by in their bios. Is this like single light above my head kind of funny? Like I'm constantly having like a flashbulb like ding! So you look up an author on Twitter, you see, oh, they're represented by this person, you click that agent and that'll take you to that agent's Twitter. Usually that agent will have in their bio information of you can query me at XYZ, or I'm closed for queries right now, or they'll just have a link to the literary agency that they work for and you can follow that link to their submissions page. Point 1, look up authors on Twitter, they'll have it in their bio. Option 2, you can find agents by participating in Twitter pitch events. Some examples that I participated in are Pitch Dark, SFF Pit, and Pit Mad. In general, in a Twitter pitch event, you're going to be writing a 1 to 2 sentence pitch of your book and then hashtagging the name of the pitch event. After you've sent that tweet, agents can look through the hashtag, oh, I'm really interested in their pitch, and so then an agent will like or retweet your pitch if they want you to submit to them. This is a very roundabout way of submitting to agents, but it has the benefit of knowing that an agent is already interested in your work. Does this necessarily mean they want to represent it? Not at all. But a lot of the times agents will say, if I liked your tweet, mention that in your submission line, and so it's kind of like a bumping you ahead of the rest of the slush pile. So that's how you find agents through pitch events. Way number 3. Why did I put these hands up? Way number 3, you can look up hashtag manuscript wishlist on Twitter. Using this hashtag, agents will post, I'm interested in books that are similar to this movie I was really into, or I really want to see historical fantasy books about princesses deciding to be knights. It can be very, very specific, or it can be very vague. I want general, I want more YA fantasy in my inbox, come query me. But if you are looking through manuscript wishlist, but none of the agents seem to be looking for books like the ones that you've written in that hashtag, do not worry. The manuscript wishlist, The manuscript wishlist hashtag is also really helpful in just finding agents in general, because even if they're not looking for your book, if you click on their name and you go to their literary agency, you can look through other agents in that literary agency and they might be looking for books just like the one you've written. Any of the things that I've just listed are also great ways to just find agents in general. Even if an agent doesn't like your pitch, even if an agent hasn't used hashtag manuscript wishlist to look for a book that you're looking for, they are an agent and they know other agents. So if you look at their Twitter, you look at people they interact with, you look at their literary agencies, you read through their other agent bios, these are all ways to kind of get an idea of what agents are out there in the world. Because when I first started pitching, I could not have named a single agent, and by doing this, I was able to assemble a list of people that I thought might be interested in my book. Okay, you followed my advice, you've found agents in the world, you know they exist, you know where to find them. How do you know which agent is right for your book? Now this may seem like kind of basic advice, but most agents will have underneath their bio on their website or on their manuscript wishlist page, they will say exactly what they're looking for. There's going to be lots of agents looking for YA fantasy. When I'm looking through all of these agents and deciding which ones I think would best represent my book, I want to look at more than just, oh cool, this person, you know, represents YA fantasy. I'm going to see, oh okay, this person, they said their favorite book is Howl's Moving Castle. Well, my book is a little bit like Howl's Moving Castle, and also that's one of my favorite books, so we might potentially be a good match. Agents will also say things like, I am looking for queer protagonists, or by queer authors. I am looking for books by people of color, about people of color. Both of these are specific enough that I can think, okay, this person might connect with my book on a level in a way that they might not if they weren't looking for queer books. I also look to see if they, on their Twitter, have a little rainbow flag, or if they put their pronouns. Keep in mind, not everyone wants to talk about their identity publicly. Don't be like, well, this person doesn't say they're gay, so I'm not going to submit to them. This is just something that I like to keep in mind when looking. So, alright, you got that? Be specific. Another way I like to narrow it down is by looking at their Twitter. And by this I mean I want to see what kind of things they tweet about, and I want to see in which tone they tweet. And I want to see, most importantly, if I vibe with them. Now, this is not to say that that means they are going to be the best person for my book, but I think it is often a sign for me, okay, I'm gonna be able to communicate with this person because we're on a similar wavelength. We tweet about similar things, we're both interested in social justice, we're around the same age, or if not around the same age, we communicate in the same way. And I'm sure that there's lots of people who have agents who are much older than them, have different communication styles, but for me that is generally what I look for. Alright, great, amazing, we got there. You found the agents, you decided which ones to submit to. How are you going to organize all of this? That's a lot of information to keep in mind. There is a website that lots of authors use called Query Tracker. I have never used this website because I think their UI is ugly. So I'm going to walk you through the Google spreadsheet that I made to keep track of agents and editors. Let's go to the computer. It's right there. Got emails. Oh baby, I got emails. So, welcome to my beautiful spreadsheet. I'm very proud of it. I love it. I'm horny for it. It's a pretty simple spreadsheet, but I'm going to walk you through each of the columns. So up here I have the name of each agent, their website, their contact. I'll either put their email or their Twitter. I find having the Twitter there useful because sometimes an agent will post personal things like, I'm not going to be responding to queries right now because I'm on vacation, and I'll just know, okay, well then it'll probably be a little longer until I hear from them. Their job, maybe that's redundant, whatever, I like to see it. Their agency. This is important because almost all agencies don't want you to submit to more than one agent their agency at a time. And some agencies don't want you to submit to any of their agents again if one of their agents rejects you, because they all share stories. So a rejection from one can mean a rejection from all. This is why it's important to just kind of keep an eye on what agency the agent you're submitting to is working in. The next column is what materials they want from you. I have a submitted yes or no column, what date I queried them, and what date I'm going to hear back by. Some agents will say, I'll get back to you in 6 weeks, I'll get back to you in 2 weeks. Some agents will not have any information at all, but I find it useful to have a hear back by date because it means I can refer to this list and go, oh, okay, I haven't heard back from this person. It says that if we don't get back to you, that's a rejection. I can go ahead and mark it in the reject pile. And then for notes, I generally put the link to the query manager page. For this person, I resubmitted after 3 weeks because I hadn't heard back from them, and they say if we haven't got back to you in 2 weeks, then you should resubmit. So yeah, that's kind of self-explanatory. The other reason I like this Google Sheet is because I can see how many people I've submitted to at a time, and when they reject me, I can move them to the rejected column. When someone rejects me, I mark it in red. When someone has asked me for more materials and I haven't heard back from them, I mark it in green. Simple, but pleasing to the eye. And then underneath the yeses and the rejects, I have the no pile. And the no pile is people that I am interested in submitting to, but who are currently closed for queries, or who I think might be interested in a different project, that kind of thing. That's kind of it for the spreadsheet. The editors list looks the same. Most of the time you're not submitting to editors, but for example, 2 of these people liked my pitches during a Twitter pitch event, and one of them only takes agented queries, so I know once I get an agent, I'll tell them, okay, you should reach out to this person. She's expressed interest in my work. And this agency also liked one of my pitches during a pitch event. This was when I had just written the first draft, and I was like, I'm done, I'm ready to pitch, which I actually ended up receiving a revise and resubmit from them. And so I decided that, oh wow, I could resubmit as of yesterday. That's funny. But I decided that I wanted to wait to get an agent before I resubmitted to this publisher, because it made more sense to me to have someone to navigate a contract, etc., etc., especially because I don't know anything about entangled publishing, and I'm still so green about publishing in general that I would feel more secure having an agent navigate things for me. The note that I will leave you with, most people say that you should be querying about 9 to 10 people at a time. And so this spreadsheet also just helps me keep an eye on, okay, I've been rejected by one person, I'm gonna go ahead and query another. I don't know if this is the best way to do it. I think what is encouraged by most people is to send it out to your top 5 and then wait to get rejected or hear back from all of them before you query some more. But when I was looking through people, I felt like I didn't have a top 5. I felt like I just kind of had a general, like, I think these people would be good and would get my book. So I did send it to the people I liked the most at first, but then after that I was kind of like, I just continued to kind of keep it having 10 queries out at once. That's what works for me. Might work for you. You might prefer to do it another way. That's it. If anyone is interested in this, I could definitely make a blank version and stick it in the description below. Just let me know in a comment. Or if you're reading this in the future and you're like, I want that, then you should look in the description box and maybe it'll be there. So that's kind of the end of my thoughts on how to find an agent, who to choose, who to query. That's my querying process. If you found this video because you're about to start querying, my best of luck to you. Please do not let rejections dishearten you and just decide, oh, my novel is garbage. I don't know if you looked too hard, but I've already been rejected 6 or 7 times, and I've only been querying since June, and it's currently August. So the way I like to think about it is, if you're not getting rejected, it's because you're not applying. Let me say that again. If you're not getting rejected, it's because you're not applying. You are going to get rejected. Look at me. You're going to get rejected. But that's okay, because it means you're putting your book out there. and getting rejected is the first step to getting published. Isn't that nice? I have a little thread on Twitter that I've been updating every time I've gotten rejected or every time I've gotten a materials request. I don't know if this is helpful to anyone but me, but I know that the querying process can be a downer, and it was just nice for me to kind of have a way to say, oh, hey, I got rejected again, but it happens to all of us. And maybe other querying people on Twitter see it and they're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, me too. Fuck off. But hopefully some of them are like, I'm not alone. I'm also getting rejected. Oh, it's so bright now. Okay, well, I guess that's my cue to stop filming because I feel like the rainbow on my face must be extremely distracting. But I love you. I wish you the best of luck. Your book is good. Your characters are interesting. Your ass is fat. Go get 'em, tiger. I'll see you next week.
Ignorant of everything that is deemed not relevant.
Hello? Abigail, please, I'm recording. My internet must have just come back on. Fuck yeah, that was very scary. Anyway, go watch Philosophy Tube. Plug. I see what you did there.